What's going on, everybody? BobbyFi, Eric Sheets Haber. Hope you're all having a good Thursday. We're going to be talking through this 3-game NBA slate. Sheets with the showdown win last night. The frustrating finish, but talk about having a decent night, and then we'll get into the slate.
Yeah, thank God I remembered. Remember, I told you I was going to play the showdown, and the first one was closed pretty much. And then I registered for the late one. I'm like, okay, how am I going to remember to actually do these? I'm like, you know what? This is the way I'm going to remember to do my late swaps, right? Because I know that I have to do that. So I was not doing very well at all in the first one because I didn't have the combination of Jalen Johnson. I think you needed Jalen Johnson and Cat and nobody else maybe. I thought, So I went and I went to late swap. Ooh, let me do the showdown slate. So I did my usual process. I tried to reduce dupes as much as I could, and pretty much forgot about it. And then in the fourth quarter, I looked up and 4 minutes to go. I'm cashing for 16,000. Like, whoa! So I sweated right to the end there, and it was NBA is fun to sweat at the end because you have usually comes down to kind of the scrubs, and in this particular tournament, right, everybody really needs to win, and they were right down at the end, so they were swapping offense for defense every possession. So first, they took Sengun out. I'm like, what are you doing taking Sengun out? I'm like, oh, okay, he's back in. Okay. And then another guy had a whole bunch of people Gary Payton Jr. I didn't have him. He was out. I'm like, wait, why is he back in? Oh, for defense, right? And then he went out, and then Jalen Brooks came in, or something like that. So I'm like, I got to follow all this, who's going to be in or not. So I ended up I needed nothing to happen on the last possession or something, and somebody went up for a shot and missed it, and then there was a scramble for the ball, and what's his name, Gary Payton Jr. Laying on the ground, reached out and got a rebound. It's and then there was a big scramble, a jump ball, whatever it was, and so there's a whole bunch of guys 1 point, however many points a rebound is below us, that got a tie because of that. But I think overall, I probably ran really hot at the end to not let other people get there, because literally any other points by Brooks would have beaten me. Any other points by Brzezinski, who was in at the end, that, obviously that last shot by him, that would have beaten me. So very happy to do that.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's nice. I'm glad you had a good win, but that's always frustrating to have it happen like that. All right, should we pull up your screen and go game by game for today? We don't have to use my screen. It's fine.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
Let's get too many.
Just got my exposures over here. So, all right. Yeah, so I have basically I already have my exposures out here just because I ran some sims and stuff like that before the show, and getting basically what you'd expect. Obviously, we have one extra game, so it's maybe not trying to get different. Last night, by the way, the Capella was only 5% owned, and it looked like he was.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous.
And the Conquo was barely owned, so they both were good, but it just didn't quite make it work for me well enough. Anyway, all right, so. Toronto and Miami. Do you want to go? Because
huge slate, huh? 3 full games.
3 full games, yeah, massive one.
I'm I ran my sims. I ran whatever I got. I'll just start you off with guess who what I have. I don't know about any questionables or anything like that today. Are we waiting on anything important?
I'm sure there will be something, but we have from this game, it's only Butler probables all I've got.
So I'm getting as gross this. I'm getting 85% Kevin Love. I guess it's a testament to the lack of value. Again, I didn't question why I'm getting this right now. But right now, that's what I'm getting. I guess, but I don't know. I'm seeing Missy is a good value. You know what I mean? I don't know what we need here, but I guess nothing under 5K. Looking like such great value. That's why I'm getting all this Kevin Love. I don't know. And then after that, what else is on the Miami side of this? Not really much, honestly. I'm getting some Bam and some Duncan Robinson. My current construction just doesn't look like this. I'm not really even getting it. Well, I shouldn't say too much. Tyler Hero right now at 25%. I guess that's market rate, I suppose. Toronto. I'm getting my highest owned Toronto guy is another value, as the Mogbo. I'm getting 30% of him, and then Pirtle is the next guy. It's a decent total, I guess, but it's the lowest total on the board, and it's a 10-point spread. I don't know. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I think that, there's a lot of stuff to do here because there's a lot of value showing up, but you can see, Miami is I'm pretty heavy on the Miami guys right now. I don't know that I'm going to really, this is early in the day, so this is probably not going to be where I end up, but I do like, it's a great matchup for Miami, and I do worry about, with every game with the Raptors on the road, I always worry about the game staying close, but right now I'm getting a pretty heavy exposure to this game all the way through, and I think I'm basically like overweight pretty much everybody in this game at the moment, except for I don't have any Kevin Love. And I think I'd like to add more Rozier, maybe get a little bit less Drew Smith. Rozier finally had a decent game his last time out, and maybe he can build off that. I just don't think it's such a cheap price for him. I'm actually going to, put in a little higher ownership so I can get a little bit more of that. But yeah, it's hard to ignore the value here. But Bam, Hero, Barrett, Mogbo are my highest owned. And I didn't get to any of the other pieces, the weird pieces. I'm still debating about the Davion Mitchell and if I want to do anything with that or Grady Dick. But right now I just have Barrett. I'm surprised Miami's only 10.5-point favorite with no Scotty Barnes. I would have thought that there would have been maybe more. And we just have to keep an eye out for the starting lineups because we're assuming they start Davion Mitchell. And they probably will. But if they don't, it's going to make maybe either Walter or somebody else look good. But yeah, I'm pretty overweight this game in general. All right, and there's not a whole bunch of late swapping tonight, so it doesn't bother me as much because there's no real break between the games. Only for the 7:30 and the.
I see that.
All right, Detroit in Boston.
Yeah. So there's no more point differential. So the blowout's kind of back in play here a little bit. I do have Tatum, obviously looking really good. Why wouldn't he? And I'm getting a decent amount. I'm getting like a full 50% of that. And also Derek White, I'm getting 40% of him. And also Drew Holiday, I'm getting a full 30% of him in my initial runs and things like that. You do have blowout risk, and again, this is not like it was where if they win by 40, it matters. So if they do have this game under control, it probably makes some sense to rest guys. So I would be cautious about getting too much exposure to the Boston side. The other thing about this is that Detroit. So you have like Tobias Harris. I'm getting like 35% of that. So got to be careful with the Detroit guys because number one, like blowouts affect that team like even worse. If you're playing the starters, because it means number one they got blown out, right? Which means they probably didn't do all that well in the first place. As opposed to when the blowout team is responsible for the blowout, they at least have some points on the board. And also, Celtics, I presume they still play good defense. I don't know. You think you're going to play, they're probably going to get their best game. It's like a playoff game, right? And Detroit against Boston.
This isn't one.
Oh, it's not?
I don't, unless I'm missing something all of a sudden. Maybe, hold on, let me just double check the actual cup games.
Isn't this the quarterfinals or whatever?
I thought for some reason we had it off until Thursday.
Is that right? I didn't know that. I thought
let me just double check. Because I don't think these teams made it, but yeah.
Oh, what do I know? Okay.
Yeah. We just it's already set up for the semifinals. It's Hawks.
Oh, so this is just a regular game?
Yeah, these are just regular games.
All right. So so blowouts still are back in play. Right?
Yeah.
It's same thing. It's there's no reason for Boston to put the hammer down in this one. With that said, what I was gonna say is that if Boston's not giving their full effort, you know what I mean? If they don't like 100% want to shut Detroit down, maybe these guys can get there a little bit, Detroit. I don't know. Right now, it's just going to be mostly the Celtics for me, though.
Yeah, I just changed it over. I always it feels like every game that they blow somebody out, it always feels like Derek White and Jaylen Brown have a big game. This game should be a pretty good pace. So I just added a little bit more exposure to them. I'll probably end up even a little higher than I am right now. And then Peyton Pritchard is the other one who works out well in a blowout. You obviously have Holiday with the value. There's not really any value on the Detroit side. I do think, Cade's going to get some ownership. If he wasn't, I was going to say that I think it's interesting to play as if this game is going to be close. And Cade at 9,600 is definitely can put up 70 here. if this game stays close. He's coming off of what 71 in his last game, and then 61 in his last game against Boston, the game before that. So if he put up 71 against New York and 61 against Boston, I don't see why he couldn't do that again if the game were to stay close. But it's all going to hinge on whether or not Tatum plays tonight. That's the big one. And should he play, I probably, because I think he'll have some ownership, I still might X him out and just stick with the Holiday, White, Brown, Pritchard from Boston. That's sort of what I'm thinking. I like Detroit. I think Detroit's a little more competitive than they get credit for, even though Boston can always blow out anybody at home. I think they've been at least competitive this year for the most part. All right, Sacramento and New Orleans.
As I mentioned earlier, I mean, I'm getting a bunch of this Missy at 5K. Again, the lack of value. This is this price range you're going to get. In addition to that, like all these other New Orleans guys, I'm getting like Murphy, Jones, DeJounte Murray, even McCollum. Getting all these guys like pretty heavy. Sacramento not as much, but still, Fox, Malik Monk, the usual guys. But all this New Orleans exposure is kind of interesting to me. What do you like here?
Yeah, I'm a little lower on the Sacramento side. I might actually manually upgrade some of these guys. I think that because I didn't get much of it in my first run through. The Isaac Jones play as a value, I understand it. I am not sure that I agree that with the projection. Why am I struggling to find him here? I don't think it's a guarantee that he plays at all, to be honest with you. So it feels a little funky, but he is 3K and there's lack of value on this slate. So it is the spot that people are going to go to. I'm still not sure if I'm going to end up being one of those people or not, for what it's worth. So, and on the New Orleans side, I'm getting a bunch. I think the Messi is pretty good chalk on this slate. I mean, he's put up like 40 or more in 4 of his last 8 games. And even when he's, hasn't had a great game, he's still in the low 20s. He should play plenty of minutes. So I do like Missy quite a bit. Other than that, I think Trey Murphy is my next favorite play, but I'm still he's just going to be so popular. I don't mind being a little bit under the field. But he is the guy I like just best matchup wise. And then DeJounte Murray is the other one. Herb Jones, I don't know if I need to play that, but I'm considering it. I'm gonna rerun and play with some things, but right now I do think Messi. It's like the slate for me is like Messi, 1 or 2 of the Boston guys, and then all Toronto, Miami basically is sort of my overall exposure at the moment. You can see all the Toronto, Miami sorting by my exposures. It's just completely dominating the entire slate for me. And I worry about that game blowing out just as much as I do the other ones. So I might have to change some things a little later in the day. But so you want to go live at 7 tonight?
I think that's a good idea, right? Because the slate doesn't start till 7:30, and then we could be a little closer to the football start.
Okay.
Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think that'll work. That works for me. Yeah, no problem with it.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, it's at least we have 3 games to choose from. There's some decisions to be made. I'm going to do a little more digging, a little more playing around before then. But first look, this is sort of it does feel like a Miami Toronto slate mostly for me. I think I'm going to try and force in some Boston Detroit stacks. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Anything else?
Hang in there after we
yeah. All right. Good luck, everybody, and we'll be live at 7 Eastern tonight, and I'll see you guys then.